if you're a band and you're trying to up your social media game, one quick life hack is just take 30 minutes of your time and make like a little evergreen content schedule for the next 2 weeks. Like every 2 days, I'm gonna post like one of our best photos from this show. Figure out your caption, just schedule it.
This is A Band's Life, a video podcast where bands share their experiences so we can all better navigate the music industry. Hey guys, it's been a crazy couple weeks and it's about to get crazier here. NAMM is coming through, and this weekend I'm going to be going down there and taking some fun pictures of some crazy cool stuff that I find there. If you guys are interested, watch the Instagram profile. Also, just while you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe to the podcast, either here on YouTube or through your favorite podcast app. Also, I got those new Spotify playlists up. Go ahead and subscribe to them. If you're interested and want to be on them, send me an email at abandslifepodcast@gmail.com. Without further ado, crash Overcast.
'Cause I'm sick of songs about streets that I've never driven on. Make me pay for another cliche.
Hi, I'm JD. I'm the bass player for Crash Overcast.
I'm Alex. I sing and play guitar for Crash Overcast.
And I'm Jeff. I'm the drummer for that same band.
Nice. How long you guys been around?
We're coming up on 3.5 years now. Been a band. Yeah.
Yeah, we started in 2015, and go ahead, tell me.
Cool. You got a nice little place here in Santa Monica. It was really easy to get to. A lot of places are kind of hard to find. How hard was it finding a little practice space like this in LA?
Oh man, we've been in this building, a couple of different buildings here for like 3.5, 4 years, right? 3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years, because I think the first couple months we were in a different building. But then we transferred over here because it was just too small of a space. It was like 3 or 4 bands sharing half of this space.
Ouch.
So then we came over here, and we've been in, I think this is the 3rd room we've been here, but we found this place. We really like the area. Just kind of bounce around, depending on our needs. We had a smaller space, then we got a really big room, and now we're in this room, which has a nice storage and pretty good sized space. So the storage is key.
Storage.
Because if you just have a room like this, all your stuff is just everywhere.
It's not a small room, to be honest. You guys share it with anybody, or is it just you guys?
Yeah, we got really lucky. We share it with our 4 other friends that are in a band called the Allright.
Shout out to the Allright.
Shout out to the Allright.
Allright! What?
So yeah, it's just big enough for a couple of drum kits and get everybody in here.
Cool.
Sweet.
So the whole podcast is about surviving in the music industry. I moved here in like 2008, trying to be a producer and mixer out here, and that is like the year the music industry finally just died. It was going down for a while, just boom, flat line. And so it's since then, not just me, but bands have had like a hard time, just kind of navigating it because everything has changed. We don't sell as many albums anymore. At least that's not the focus. We do a lot of streaming nowadays. How you guys kind of feel like you guys have survived in the last few years?
Working regular jobs.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're like treading water. We're barely surviving. I feel like that's what it is. Just working hard, trying to put out new stuff. I guess that's one of the key things when you don't have the following, or when you're trying to build a following, is people always expect new material from you. Whether it's a video, a song, no established band is usually putting out songs every month or whatever. Not that we're doing that, but we're working to at least write new songs. And if you come see us play shows, we do show off new songs pretty regularly every couple of months. So that way, if you come to shows, a lot of times you see the same people come to the same shows because people get, into you and they're like, oh, we want to see you. We try to give them an incentive to come back because we're not playing the same thing every time. We're not playing the same set. We'll try a different set list. We'll throw in a new song.
We usually try a different cover of some
Yeah.
sort.
Oh, yeah.
Try to
Always
make
a little
something
special
fun.
cover just to get people more into it, riled up with it. Especially if they don't know the stuff or they haven't been listening to our songs so they can't sing along. Sometimes it's nice to have that sing-along song that everybody can get into.
Everybody knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's cool. What about, what do you guys think you guys have done? Sorry, let me rephrase. What do you guys think that you guys have done really, really well as a band?
Shoot.
Nothing. We've done nothing well.
We've existed.
This interview? Does that count?
Yeah, one of the things that I think that we've done pretty well is put ourselves in the position where we're booking consistently at our level. I mean, that's something that that I thought that was going to be a huge mountain to climb, and it was. It was definitely difficult to get to this spot, but it's something that I'm super grateful that we've been able to build up over the last couple of years. So now that we're in this spot, we're able to get local shows going on a monthly basis, where we have relationships with different promoters or other bands that come on tour that we're friends with now, and other local bands here who are doing a lot as well. So we basically just try and put as much energy into, like JD and Jeff said, getting ourselves out on stage to make you smile, make you laugh, make you cry. Who knows? We're pretty emo, honestly. Maybe it's just me.
I can't believe I can't.
You make me smile.
This is so good. Yeah. So the consistent booking is definitely something that we're pretty proud of. Right now, as we alluded to, we're working on writing a ton of new material, so that's something I think we're doing really well at. We work well as a team with building new songs, stuff that we're genuinely stoked about. Like, we're not trying to box ourselves into any one sort of thing we want to be like this so people could label us as that. It's like we're trying to basically push ourselves to be as original, as creative as we can in any songwriting. So that's cool.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking on what he said. A lot of the shows, getting out there, playing a lot of shows, but we also didn't limit ourselves to which shows we played. So we played we played at Bridgetown DIY. It was a punk rock show only. Like, we were easily the softest band, on the bill. So we were like, okay, let's punch it up a little. Let's kind of give them that punk rock feel. Even though a lot of our older songs, particularly, are pop punk songs. We also played at the Whiskey A Go Go for metal show. Everybody was metal band on the night, and that was actually a great show. We had a great response. We kind of kicked the energy up a little bit. So not being afraid to just grab onto anything. If we're like, oh, we don't really fit this, we're like, we'll make it work. We'll do something to get in there. And then, like you said, not trying to box ourselves in with our new stuff. You listen to our old record, we're a pop punk band. If that's all you ever heard from us, we're definitely a pop punk band. But if you come and hear us live or listen to a lot of the new stuff, which hopefully we'll be able to bring to everybody soon, it's got a lot of different influences. It's, whether or not you can call us a pop punk band after you hear it, that's up to everybody else. I don't really care what you call us. It's because we have those pop punk influences, we have, metal influences, hardcore influences, all that stuff.
Experimental jazz.
Jazz.
Like weird samba.
Some waltzing
Waltzing's
breakdown.
huge.
And to piggyback again on what you were saying, I think that comes from like us writing the stuff that we want to write. Who doesn't? But like, we write things that are fun, or like, just the stuff that we want to hear. And I think that's like where a lot of the best bands like kind of separate themselves. It's not like trying to be like somebody else or trying to be exactly like this band and take their same route, but just like playing what they want to hear. And I think that translates really well because we have a ton of fun playing our shows. And I think that, gets out there to the people that come.
I'm just trying to be like him. So,
Always trying to.
always.
So when you went about, booking shows, how did you get a hold of these promoters? How did you find the shows that you wanted to do? A lot of people have trouble and they have to maybe do like a pay-to-play stuff when they're first starting out. How do you guys do what you do? You do play?
So we try to stay away from pay-to-play.
Yeah.
I've been in bands in the past that are heavy into pay-to-play.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who are heavy into pay-to-play, and it's paying $250 to play a show kind of sucks, but it really hurts when you're doing that every week for 6 months. Then you're like, wow, it's just so much money because most of the time you're not recovering that. Maybe you'll recover a little bit of that money. So we try to stay away from that. It's very rare that we will do a pay-to-play. As far as the shows go, starting out, it was pretty slow for us. We jumped on a lot of friends. We had a couple of friends that were like, hey, you guys started a band. Why don't you jump on a show with us? And we started that way. And we kind of gained some traction fairly quickly because people tend to like what they had heard from us. So from there, I just started reaching out. I reached out to promoters and to bands. And reaching out to bands has actually been one of the big key things, is other bands who are booking shows and jumping on with them. And then they, if they like you, or then you're like, oh, I want to do a show, and then you pull them on. So everybody ends up kind of sharing shows, and in which place everybody gets to play more shows. Because if you're from, let's say, San Bernardino, and you're playing a show and you want to pull us out there, not a lot of people in LA are going to drive to San Bernardino to go see a show. But, if you don't put us out there when you want to play LA, or when we have a show opportunity, like, we'll ask that same band, and they'll get a chance to play. So each of us gets to play 2 shows as opposed to them just doing their thing. And
Lots of back scratching. Lots of back scratching.
exactly.
Nobody has
So
interest
definitely reaching out to a lot.
ever.
I've reached out to a lot of promoters, developed a relationship with them. Previous, other music contacts just had. So it's really just kind of blasting everybody, unfortunately. Sometimes you're reaching out too much, but that's what it really tails down to. You just got to be unafraid to hear them say no, or be like, look, I've heard from you guys too much, or there's definitely venues we played, like, you guys just played here, like, we're not really looking to have you guys come back again so soon, or just get a lot of that.
Do they say that? Do they straight up say that? Like, hey, you guys have been here how many times in this last year?
Usually the way that it goes is they say that they're like, you have to guarantee that you'll bring so many people. If we just
it's
played
almost
there,
pay to play.
yeah.
Just trying to,
If you don't,
you're
you
going to
make
bring
it
these
cost
people, right?
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, you were just here. Like, there was a place that there are a couple of places that were like, well, you played here, or you played somewhere else recently. You can come here, but you got to bring 20 people. If you don't bring 20 people, then you have to make up the thing, and they'll charge $10 a head or whatever. And sometimes it's
It adds
feasible,
up
sometimes
quickly.
it's not.
Did you get the door in, some of the door in that case, or?
Depends on the venue.
Depends,
It's very, very dependent on the venue. There's a couple of venues that we've played that are great about it. There's a couple of venues we've played that just liked us and have paid us, right then and there. Like, we played a venue out in Grand Terrace that was amazing. We played for one person, and they were like, here's $35. I don't have much, but here's $35 for you. That's
Did
it.
you buy
And it was-
$35 with booze? Or?
So, actually, we were on that show with a touring band, some buddy of ours called Noise Brigade up in from Portland, or from Alaska, but they're based out of Portland now. And we handed it all off to them. We're like, they're on tour. We're local. It's not that much, but it was a great venue. They were really cool sports about it. LA is a little different. You don't get a lot of that, but some of the venues in LA have been that cool too. They're like, look, here's some money, or if you bring in the people, they're more than happy to help you out.
That was a real smart move. That's a businessman move right there. Where you're like, hey, this is like nothing to us.
Yeah.
Like something that someone's on the road. Here you go. You guys take it. You guys need it right
here's
now.
X amount of miles down the road for you.
We'll try
That's
to do
like,
that.
hey, how's it going later? Oh, put us on this show with you later. Kind of thing. Like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And to that extent, going back to your question earlier about like what we've done well, I think like I haven't been in the band quite as long as the two of them, but what they've done, and I think what has continued the whole time, is like establishing really good relationships with everybody, and straight up just treating people well and welcoming people into like what we do, and just being like very, very grateful for any opportunity that we get, and paying that forward as much as we possibly can, whether it be like getting other bands on other shows, or we might have to go out pretty far just to like support somebody, and I think that's really helped a lot.
That's cool. Well, it's a lot of bands I see that don't do that. They don't actually like support each other or support other bands in the scene, and it's kind of like you're not gonna last very long. Like,
That's how the scene falls
people out.
apart.
Yeah.
That's how it doesn't become a scene anymore, and which is kind of interesting to us, because we're grateful to be a part of this scene, and it being from Los Angeles and based out of Los Angeles is such a vast area that it's very interesting navigating and building a sense of community here, because there are so many bands and there are so many fans and people that are in this big sprawling metropolis, but reaching out to people and getting these people into these pockets of these areas to come together, that's like where the big muscle that you try to flex, I guess, and getting people out. If you're a very brand new band and you're trying to establish relationships with promoters or with other bands and with people, I'd say Facebook is probably one of the best avenues for that, because every band posts their information and their music on Facebook. There's groups that you can join, like for instance, we're in a group called like the Socal Pop Punk Coalition, which I think was started by Graveler, right? The guys calling from Graveler, and bands post their gigs in there. Hey, does anybody want to jump on? Like, we actually need another band to fill out this bill, or we're going on tour. Can is there anybody else across the country who wants to be a local opener for this show or whatever. So Facebook's really good. Instagram, once you start building some connections, they just kind of grow themselves with each show. Then you meet different people, and then it just becomes more of this like big rolling snowball at this point where you have like, oh, like we have buddies in Wyoming that we could say what up to. Like, shout out to Not My Weekend. What's up, guys? You know, we have buddies like all over the place where you can be like, hey, we're coming through, or you guys are coming through. Let's trade shows. Let's do it. So
That's cool. It's smart moves, man. I mean, do you guys? So when you guys are, you know, trying to get these shows, going through either promoters or venues or whatever else, do they lean on any social media stuff, or do they like, hey, you guys, I don't know, you need to have a certain amount of followers or something, anything like that?
I don't think a lot of them lean on social media because, particularly in LA, they just want to know what kind of money you can bring in for them. They honestly, you could have zero social media presence for most of the bars in LA, and if you guarantee them a certain amount of money, then they're cool with that. You know, to cover a certain cost. Now with bands, whenever I've reached out to bands, the social media presence, you know, kind of makes a big deal. They want to hear the music. You know, you reach out to them, you're like, hey guys, I think we'd be great on a show together. I see you're playing here or you're playing there. They want to check out the music. They want to just throw on a band who doesn't do anything, or they can't hear what you sound like, or, you know, so it's kind of been my experience from reaching out to bands, and then kind of the experience the other way when people like kind of reach back to us. They're like, hey, we want to do this. Like, you know, if I can't hear what they sound like or they don't have any social media presence, it's like, you know, do we want a thrash metal band to open for us? Nobody will probably want to come see that. I mean, I like thrash metal, but there's a time and a place, you know, sometimes. If we do a big show where we can have a lot of different mix of genres, awesome. But if we're doing 3-4 bands on for the night, it's a pop punk show, then, you know, the thrash metal guys, it might be a waste of their time, you know, and that's a big thing. Like, you know, sometimes there are bands that are far away that want to come, and like, you know, I'd love to have you on, or, you know, it'd be great, but I don't want to waste your time either. Because for you to drive, you know, such a long way to play a show, you know, sometimes people just want to play. You know, that's kind of how we started, as we just want to play. I was like, let's drive up to the valley, we'll play a show. We used to drive to Chino and play a lot of shows in Chino. And we weren't pulling anybody in Chino, but, you know, they offered a free show, and we're not asking for anything in return. We just want to get up on stage and play, you know, for some of their friends, you know, those guys that are bringing their friends. And then in that, you know, atmosphere, people get to hear what you're like live, because I would like to say that we're a very different band live than we are on the record. So, you know, and that's, a lot of that has blossomed that way. Like, oh, we'll come out of Chino, we'll open, we'll do that 6:30 show. Probably no one's there, but the band that's putting on the show, they're there. They see us and they go, wow, like, we really like what you guys are doing. Let's do another show with the two of us somewhere where we can both bring people, or somewhere in LA or somewhere else. And let's, you know, get you guys on later in the night so we have more people like watching us, or that kind of thing.
Laying some groundwork.
Yeah.
I think we've also tried to do that with like a good portion of our social media is like not just putting up like, okay, here's like, you know, a lyric video, or, you know, like a sample of a song, but like we are lucky enough to have a lot of friends that will come out for free and help us shoot video and live record us and all sorts of stuff. So like a lot of the promos that we do are live footage to show that like it's not just like, you know, we're not just standing there. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anybody who just stands there and plays. But it is
We're an
pretty
all-inclusive
fun.
band. We love everyone.
Yeah, it is pretty fun to like go see a band that's like, you know, still moving around a lot and going crazy, and, you know.
So this is from the guy who doesn't move around at all. He just sits down.
That's true.
Checking your phone while you're playing.
He's like, what?
Yeah. I can't even check my own facial expressions when I play.
oh man.
Actually, that's probably worth coming to a show just to look at just
Yeah.
facial expressions. That's it. For no other reason than that one right there.
Yep. It's my New Year's resolution. Get more face control when I play.
I mean, that's definitely like the core like ethos of this band, is to provide value for the people who do take the time to come out and see it live, because like JD and Jeff said, we are a different experience live, and that's something that we literally put a lot of energy into, like, we try and just like gas out the tanks on stage as much as we can, because we think, well, look, you took the time to drive all the way out here from who knows where in LA. It could be 10 miles away, but it did take you 10 and a half hours in a passport to get over there, because it's impossible to get across the city. We want to make sure it's worth your while. And for us, that makes it worth our while too, because we know that we put in 110 to whatever show it is we're playing at. We played some funny places before. We played at this thrift shop one time where we were pretty much standing within the clothing racks because it was so tiny in there.
Yeah.
It was smaller than this room as far as width goes, so we're like standing amongst the clothes. I have like a vintage like sundress draped on my guitar I'm trying to play, and it's like, how can I do like a 360 in here or whatever? Like, how can I jump around in this place and try and make it really fun and energetic for whoever showed up. So
I think that one of the better examples of that was like playing Warped. Is like, we had our friends come down to San Diego when we played this summer at Warped Tour, and like, you get your 15 or 20 friends that you're fortunate enough that will make that drive all the way down there. Mm-hmm. But as our set went on, every time we would look out or finish a song, it was like a lot more people. And like, you'd see them walking by and then stop and then come at you. And by the end, it was like a significantly larger show. And I had people coming up to me, and I think to you as well, being like, how does your bass player even play notes? Like, he never stops moving, or like, that was, one of the better shows I've seen today. And, not to like toot the horn, but like, we definitely,
toot.
We've put it out a lot. Yeah. We put a lot of energy into our live shows.
I hear a lot of things coming from you guys, and like I'm like a business minor from college, and I did like music and business minor just to have a little bit of business aspect. I feel like a lot of bands don't come from things from a business aspect of it, and from what I'm hearing from a lot of you, you kind of seem to at least know and do come at it kind of like from a business aspect. Who kind of does the managerial aspect of the band? Who takes care of the?
It's a 3-way split.
Is it?
Yeah, we kind of all take care of it.
Do you guys split anything up?
Different people have different duties. I mean, he's really good at booking shows, and he's really good at coming up with merch ideas. I do, video for a living, so, I take care of like a lot of the promo material and all that kind of stuff.
in the very beginning, like he had mentioned earlier, he basically took over booking everything and was what got Crash going as far as having any traction with making shows happen at all. What was that number in 2016 or 2017?
2017. So in 2016, we were really stagnant. We started 2015. 2016 was really stagnant, really slow for us, and we started recording, but even though we had a record kind of on its way, we weren't doing anything to promote it, to push it, to play it to people. So in 2017, I took everything on myself and I said, all right, we're just going to do this. And we played 70 shows plus that year. I think May was our busiest ever. We played 7 or 8 shows in May alone.
Like 2 shows a day.
One time we played 2 shows a day. Another time, I was booking. We had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. We just played a show every weekend, and we were moving all around. Like I said, we played shows in Grand Terrace, we played shows in Chino, we played shows in LA, in the area. We played shows in the Valley. So we were moving a lot. We weren't just staying in one spot. But I just went show crazy because that's we had the EP we just released. But I've always looked at bands. I've always been the person, or been someone in previous bands too, to look at a band as a business. It's an entity. It's, what are you doing? Like, if we're making money or we're going somewhere, it's not even really about money, but decisions in general. What do you bring to the table to make you a viable person in this? Like, why should we essentially hire you, as a person? Like, that's hopefully they can contribute on some level, and everybody in this band contributes vastly on everything that we do. But outside of 2017, 2018, obviously just last year, we started playing a little less, but had our focus elsewhere because we were playing so much that we didn't have time to write. 70 shows may not seem like a lot for, a touring band that's always on that because they'll knock out, 30 shows in a month. So, 2-3 months of touring, they're already past that. But for a local band who's also working all the time, like that was a lot of shows for us. And we would come in, we would practice and be like, okay, we're good for the show next weekend, It's only 52 weeks in the year. That's more than one show a weekend.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean,
So-
that kind of interferes, I'm sure, with your day jobs as alone. Like, you'd mentioned that you do video. Like, what do you guys do?
I'm in post-production. I'm an editor, so I work on shows and digital series and commercials and all that kind of stuff, and which is nice, because a lot of my work is like contract type stuff, so I can sort of like pick and choose when I work, which is really helpful for like playing music. If you want to make a living and get into music, maybe choose something like that, so you're open.
I mean, that's kind of like my main question. When you guys tell what you guys do, like, is it very helpful in trying to book shows, or are you able to do the band a lot easier because of the job that you have?
Right. That's an interesting question. Because my situation.
Yours is the only one that's a little different for that. I think ours
Yeah.
has a lot of impact directly on us, but him.
Yeah, mine. I definitely am in a different position than Jeff. Like I don't have a freelance sort of situation set up as much. I work for a tech startup in Venice. We're basically a tech startup turned into a digital media company. And I run native ad campaigns on the platform for them, and I do business development. And so it's like a 9-to-5 job, which he's been in that position as well, and same with him. And so we all have these like big kid jobs at this point.
Careers.
Yeah,
Careers.
exactly. Like, a career, like
That's such a big word.
That's a big word.
Don't say the C word.
Can't say it. It makes it real.
Say the C word. It's
No,
a
yeah.
job. Don't say the big
Do something
C.
besides the band. Don't let anybody know.
I've been at my job for the past 6 years or so, and for me, the band is something that it's kind of like I have to do this. Like, this is something that has to take place, and my job has to take place, and it's up to me to make that work. Obviously, I'm able to support myself from my job in order to be here and do fun stuff like this. So they both inform each other. I'm able to have an artistic outlet with two of my best friends in order to make that happen as well. So they kind of like, this informs my sanity, which informs my being able to do the creative endeavor and so forth. But time-wise, it's definitely more rigid for me to be able to get the time off that I need to do what we need to do. But it's just something that I do my best to make work. So.
People depend on him.
Does it end at 5? I mean, or are you like getting called at 9?
Oh, I say 9 to 5. It's,
You're about to go on stage and like, hey, bro,
7.
the snap ain't working.
9 to 5, 6, 7, 8-ish.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been certain times where it is a startup, so I'll be there maybe a little later, starting around 10, but then I'll be there till 7 or so. There's been times a couple years ago where I've had to be there till like 8 or 9 or so, making sure products QA to go into the app store the next day or something like that. So, I mean, I really do enjoy what I do. I love my job. I think it's awesome. I love my band. I think it's awesome. And so
We love you too.
Well, thank you.
I don't love you.
Well,
No one cares.
I'm just kidding. I do love you.
so yeah, I mean, there's definitely times where it's difficult because my job is in Venice, which is awesome. It's great to work in Venice Beach. It's an ideal spot to work. But because it's in this pocket of the city, it's definitely hard to get to a show in Pasadena on a Friday when we have a 6 p.m. set. Sometimes that's something that just isn't physically possible. Like, we've been offered shows before.
Monday.
Yeah, we've been offered shows in Orange County before, or something like that, where it's really far away and it's on a Monday or something like that, and it's for an opening slot, and we're like, oh, we would really love to be here, but physically the three of us cannot actually get to that place.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't working, like, the traffic situation, it just wouldn't work. So
Yeah, you'd have to leave at like noon.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Yeah.
so
Put it in like a quarter day, not even a half day.
Biggest water ever.
I know.
Hugest water.
This is the reason why I pee like 28 times.
He just opened that right before the interview.
Yeah, exactly.
Just started.
I have another one with an IV that shoots directly into my back. I just need to be as hydrated as I possibly can.
It is funny though, I will say, the work thing, because like, you tell people like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm playing in a band or something, and they're like, oh, cool, sure. And then at some point they'll check out your social media, and people you've worked with for like 6 months come in like on a Monday, and they're like, what the hell? Like, Jesus.
I think it's just
I
a
always thought that
casual,
moment.
just little fun thing, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, you guys are decent and like do stuff. And
Yeah, like people
How
figured
does
out
your bass player play any notes?
how does he do backflips. Yeah, people saw that. They're like, oh, you have a music video. You guys are on Spotify. Like people are asking us, how did you do that? Like how did you manage to put yourselves into that position in the internet? And we were like, I don't know. This is just like you. Like we all had just agreed upon, we treat this as a business, and that's like how we go about it. So it is funny when people in different settings, like work, see that kind of stuff, and it's like, oh wow.
When I requested off time this past summer so that we could go to San Diego to play Warped, I requested time with my supervisor, and he's like, yeah, sure. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm playing Warped Tour, and he's like, cool. And then like 2 minutes later, he comes out to me and he's like, wait, what'd you say you're doing? Like. I don't know. I kind of love those moments.
What are you doing?
Wait, what?
How did you guys play Warped Tour? Did you win the Ernie Ball?
There wasn't really a contest this year. They looked at local acts in different areas because it was the last Warped Tour ever.
Until
Cross
next
country.
year.
Until last
Goes
country.
back.
Cross country Warp Tour.
And so we were.
Now there's like Warp Fest or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're just gonna split it up now.
Warpcella.
Warpcella.
Emo cello.
It should be just right after
Warpalooza.
Right after
Yeah.
Coachella.
Lollapalooza Warped. No, that just doesn't work at all. Yeah, and they contacted bands, and we were one of the bands that they contacted in the area to come play the last run for a date, and that was insane. Like we're still kind of.
They just call you up or what?
Dream come true.
Got a message, and we were
Yes.
like, this is insane. Like yeah, absolutely. Like I pulled over on wherever I was driving. I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So
Well, and then they got back to us and they were like, well, we don't know if we can get you on the San Bernardino. Like, is that okay? And we're like, yes, anywhere. Like, go anywhere. Get us on the Worcester,
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
dude, we would have driven to Minnesota. Like
Yeah.
we would have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
It was definitely a dream come true. It was like the whole thing coming full circle for sure. So
Shout out Worcester.
Worcester, what up?
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Oh, my job is not nearly as complicated as him. I'm an AV technician, so I do live sound for events, for concerts, for all kinds of stuff. I do it at a university. I also do IT work, so I build computers, troubleshoot computers, and then also do general AV for classrooms or conference rooms or any of that. So projectors, screens, speakers, DSP. All that kind of stuff. So it directly ties into what we do because I do live sound for events and whatnot. So we actually have done a show or two where the sound guy wasn't available at the particular bar we were going. So I just ran the sound and I was like, no worry, no problem.
Yeah.
I was like, I got you. So, I mean, I don't, we just jumped in and we're like, we don't need the sound guy. We can, tune it up ourselves. And obviously I can't run the sound when I'm on stage, but, set everything up enough and have somebody kind of watch the board and general, little bit of feedback, just pull it back since I don't want them to do too much more. But
Not too hard.
That's come in clutch so many times. It's insane. Like the fact that we have a JD, like he can just go in there and because I don't know.
If you don't have a JD, yeah, you should probably get
should probably get one.
Sure.
get one.
Yeah,
He's lucky.
They're on sale.
He gets to make money doubly for those shows as an artist and front of house, and
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah, they
low price of
multiply my wage by
$0.
zero.
He actually starts bartending
Zero
during those
times.
shows
Yeah,
too.
slanging
Starts serving
drinks, playing riffs.
Yeah. Just an all-in-one complete package.
Yeah.
Just do it all.
It's on your business.
I imagine that does come in like super handy. I mean, you said you did video, and you do AV. So like, do you do the recording sometimes too? Or
Yeah, so I actually used to be really big into recording, and I did a lot of demos and a lot of. I had a whole like studio set up when I was at college, and then when I moved to California, I actually had to pack it all up and put it in a storage unit because I came out here basically in my little Nissan Sentra with an amp, guitar, and a suitcase of clothes, and that's all I had. So a lot of that stuff is still sitting in storage. So I've slowly been accumulating it again or buying a few things. So I've just gotten back into it, I think, last year. So I've been recording small little demos, but I hadn't actually got back. So it's been a couple years since I've actually done recording, and even longer since I've done professional recordings, because that's what I moved out to California to kind of do, and then broke away from that to do like IT work.
It's really helpful with
But-
demoing though.
Yeah,
we just started doing demoing.
Yeah.
We demoed a little bit last year, about second half of last year. We're hoping to do some demoing before we go in the studio, so we have like a solid idea. We can try different ideas. So we demo in here, trying to get a new place for myself that I could set up my own recording studio and just jump in there whenever I need to.
I always encourage bands, like, dude, you guys at least have to have like a tiny like recording interface of some sort just to like throw down the ideas, because like you're playing them live in here and they might be like, all right, that's cool, but like once you get them like set out, like for everybody just to stand there and listen to them for a second, and then you're like, oh, I want this to change. I'll do pre-production with people. And I sometimes, it's just not enough time to even do a lot of that. Yeah. Or at least there's not enough budget to do a lot of that. And so, like, if you guys could do, like, the front end of it, and then, do a little bit of pre-production, and, like, it makes everything just, like, the clean cut, like, afterwards, the album, just, it works together so much better. Oh, yeah. You don't have a lot of time when you go in the studio, especially if you go into a decent studio. You only have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money, you go in, you're like, we gotta hurry up and get this done. Record. Do all drums first. Do all this, and then by the time you get, that song sounds different now. And I wish we had the time to go back and just change it.
We're in the middle of that. I mean, just absolutely picking songs apart, part by part, and because you don't, like you said, you don't want to get in there and like burn time and burn money, and then and put all this investment and lead up to it, and then you get it back, and it's like, okay, well, definitely should have worked all this out. Yeah. I've definitely been there with bands before, like where you get pushed into it by like maybe one member or like somebody's ill prepared, and you get it back and it's like, man, everybody should be on the same page for this so we can get like the best product for our time.
Yeah, the way I see it is the opportunity to record, like to print, like to something that's going to go onto streaming services and something that's going to be a product that are going to put time and energy and touring into marketing, that only comes around so often for bands at our level. Like, we don't have label backing to make studio time happen, or we're not basically like given a loan from anybody to go do this. So it's like all DIY, it's all from us. And so we have this shot that we have every year and a half or so to go back in and say everything we want to say, put down all the parts we want to write, make it sonically as capable as we can. And that's your shot. And so, yeah, you can bet we're definitely going to be in here dissecting every single little note and rhythm that we can possibly do.
It's a lot easier because I worked, this last year I took off kind of like a year to kind of get my bearings. I'm going to try to start to do like a label later. And like, I just want to work with bands that I like to work with, because for the last 4 or 5 years, like I kind of quit the job that I had in the studio along the similar vein of it. Like I ended up working with a lot of people I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy it at all. Sorry, these guys are making me ruin my train of thought here. But
going at it.
It's a common occurrence in this room.
When we demo, we have to demo to their metronome.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
might as
big
well
deal.
slow the song down. This little triplet-y feel it.
Well, I remember now. I was going to say that working with these people that I'm not hugely interested in, it was a lot of like pop, or a lot of parents that want their kids to be YouTube fans or YouTube famous. And so like a lot of it was like pop based.
It's really weird.
That's like a thing.
I've worked on some of those things, and it's
A lot
real
of
strange.
parents that have money and their kids are like, I want to be a YouTube star. Like some of them were good. Some of them I actually enjoyed. The vast majority I did not.
That's crazy.
Some of them are still friends with, so it's kind of crazy. But like they all come from like a pop base, so the pop music is a lot easier to be like, hey, we'll have beats on the computer and everything's through the computer. It's all done almost on a laptop, depending on what you do. And so when you get it from a band where you have actual, drums and like actual things for like, I want it to sound good, I have to have a good recording, I have to go into a decent studio to get it. I can't do it on a laptop on an airplane. Like, they can release a song every couple weeks just working on it at home. But you guys, you actually have to like, okay, we got to put some time into it, we got to put some money into it, we got to go to a decent studio to get it done. Yeah. Like, it's a lot harder for a band to do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that you guys, like I said, like you guys have been demoing your stuff yourself. I'm sure it would be better for you guys if you could do like, okay, we'll record one song like every other week and we just release that. But it's just time. You can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just too much. That's why, like when I produce and whatnot, we do things in chunks. We try to get things done. We have an overall picture. It's why I think bands still kind of stick to the album idea, even though it's a smaller. Like, it's an EP now. Like, well, it's still got a vibe to it. It's still got behind it.
Totally. That's like something that we collectively sort of share as far as what we want out of a release. Is we think that the single model is definitely what things are moving towards or have been moving towards, and it's probably a more a viable idea as far as getting content out at a regular cadence for people to consume. But for us, the idea of an album is this collection of songs works together, and there is a vibe, like you said, and there is like cohesive artwork. The whole thing is art, like the whole way that you consume this thing, and you can bet we're going to release physicals and whatever, maybe vinyl, who knows. And
awesome.
yeah, it'd be great. Like it's a total listening experience, and it's a total, like, it's a piece of art that you can hold in your hands, and it's a collection of things that all flow and work together. Like I love when bands have track 2, and it's like, why did they put track 2 there? Like that's so cool. That's the lead in right after the first one. Like what does this, how does it speak to me? Like that's, I don't know, we're considering all sorts of stuff like that, so with release.
I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about is like, you know, we've been writing for a while now, and we're starting to really get to that point where it's like, okay, you know, we want to put these down and really show like sort of a picture of what we've been for the last little while, you know, and really get it out there. This is what we're about, and this is what we enjoy to play, and you know, hopefully you do too.
I feel like the bands that will one day kind of figure out how to do that, be it like social media or YouTube or whatever else, to be able to be like, all right, maybe we'll do like a song every other week, maybe like just an acoustic, maybe we're just showing our practice, maybe we're doing something else, where they can include that social media aspect that those like one, you know, the single kind of releasing kind of gives, to where it's like a constant like, hey guys, we're still here. Hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
The band that kind of will figure that out one day is going to be like, bam, like it's going to be just easy for them. And I think everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, let's just do it like that. Like it's, I know it's hard, but I mean, there's got to be a way for a band to do it, because it's just, you're losing momentum at some point in time.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. Like I said, you got real instruments.
Yeah, that's
My favorite band, the shirt that I'm wearing actually, they did a subscription model like that where you paid up front and they wrote and recorded and put out 6 songs, and they did it over 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, and for a band that like them that's been around for 15 years and might not have quite as much like popularity as they once did, like, which I don't know, for them I think they'd have even more, but they tried to do that, and it was like, it definitely kept their presence up, and it kept them in, you know, the articles and news and everything. So
Well, everyone, they're expecting to release something. Like,
Yeah,
okay, well, here's
exactly.
something we can talk about for the next month before we get to the next one.
and as a fan, it's something you look forward to. Like when I subscribed and I knew the first one was going to be in 3 months, I looked forward to that day, and then every month it was like, cool, you know, it's the 17th. Like I'm gonna wake up and there's gonna be a sweet new tune. You know, I loved that.
It's one of the things I struggle with the podcast is like, you know, I need to be consistent with somewhat, you know, we're like, okay, if I'm going to say I'm going to be like, okay, every other week, I want to be it every other week. It's been a lot harder for me to do because bands, you're not like getting back to me, but
we'll do it every one other week. If
Yeah.
nobody else can do it,
Just-
fall
just
back.
Just come to us.
Hey.
Just new questions every
talk
other
about
week.
it. Yeah,
Like,
see that
what's up?
movie? Like, no, but
It'll just
we'll do
be
sit-down comedy.
just be chill conversation in
Yeah.
between Crash Overcast.
to be honest,
Josh
that
and
would actually
Crash.
probably work for you guys if you just like sat down and had like a live stream. One of the earlier podcasts I did was with one of my friends called RKVC, and it's just 2 dudes or like a synth pop duo, and they do a lot of social media. I mean, like, and they actually got away from music for a little while because they did so much stinking social media, so they have to go back now to try to get back into the music aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, imagine if people kind of had that kind of a lot more touch with the audience and probably have a lot better response.
I don't think I've ever known a band that did like a podcast. Like I haven't seen that yet.
I've seen older bands do it.
Yeah, I've seen a few. That's not too popular though, but I think that's the big issue is not just putting out social media or trying to be on social media, but to put out meaningful content, to like actually do something. You know, I've seen a couple bands that I like, and it, you know, from before, like I love their songs, but in order to keep themselves relevant, every night they would post, "Who's up?" And then people would just like comment and the thing, and it works. You know, if you have 100,000 people that like your band, but when you have 1,000 people that are like currently following you on social media, you're like, "Who's up?" Everyone's like, "Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. I don't really, you know, want to talk to you." That's not meaningful. So it's like, you know, obviously we just talked about our work, so trying to bring that in the schedule between writing and practice and booking the shows and trying to coordinate our studio time. Then on top of that, trying to create meaningful content that goes into social media. That is definitely where, you know, we've definitely had those ideas. We've talked about, you know, recording, you know, acoustic songs, and we want to, and I mean, I've been, you know, exploring the possibility of doing an acoustic album of maybe our first EP, Too Close to Call, maybe bringing that back and doing all of those songs again. but in an acoustic format, just, and even trying to throw new songs out there that maybe you haven't heard yet, but acoustic way is an easy way to kind of give them to everyone and be like, hey, check it out. We are writing some new music. Here it is acoustically. But it's going to be vastly different from when it comes out, obviously, as a full band. So you almost get 2 songs, but really we just wrote 1 song. It's just figuring out the time. The ideas are there, and I think we've talked between us, and he, as a video editor, can whip up all kinds of amazing stuff for us, and it'll look great. But it's just coming out with the time. The time when can we nail this kid's time down so that he can track the vocals on it. When can we film something with all 3 of us together, because usually when we're together we're a lot of times practicing or writing for that stuff. So that's a big thing, is trying to figure out all that that time and coordinate that, especially like with me, because I know, like, I didn't mention this before, but my job's in San Bernardino, so I'm about 70 miles from where we practice, so I make that drive like
Committed.
1 week or 1 day during the weekday. I come after work and I drive all the way here. It takes about almost 90 minutes, and then I come and we practice for 2 hours, and then I go catch about 5 hours of sleep, and I got to go back out there at 6 o'clock in the morning. But
If you call him to see where he is, he'll rope you in for about an 85-minute conversation.
Oh, yeah?
He's got somebody to talk to.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of weird how that. Hey, where you at? Oh, I'm on my way. But now that I got you on the phone,
Can I tell you about my day?
Riverside.
let's talk about all this. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pulling up. I'll see you guys in a second.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you don't have a significant other.
I do, but I don't see her too often either.
Well, to sound off on what JD just said, it's true. The internet and other people, frankly, expect a band like us to be this like full service content production mill where we're constantly putting out that meaningful stuff, and that's what we want to do. And it's funny, people say like you should, like, you guys need to like market or something like that. It's like yes, we already do that, but also we're not dry for marketing ideas. Like JD said, he works in video production, I work in marketing, and he is in AV. So it's like we can create this stuff. It's just a function of time and coordination and actually making it happen. It's hard when you have 3 full-time working people who are also pursuing this as well. So I would grade ourselves pretty good on managing our time to be able to get as much out as we do. I mean, we all have a pretty high ambition for this band, and we have a release that we're working towards, and we're getting like the real concrete core creative stuff out there, no matter what happens. So we're gonna make it happen.
We just need someone who can like do those jib jab things of our heads and just make these videos constantly and do all the only jib jab videos.
I think
And with new music too. Also record all of the music with none of us present, and somehow
Same
have
video,
that.
just different music.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
constantly push that out there.
The meaningful content thing is definitely like something that, I mean, we're, like I said, we're very particular with like the music that we write. It's fun, but like, we treat it, I know I do, and I know you guys do, like almost treat this like as a second job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially, and I think that's what you have to do.
It's got to be meaningful. If it's not meaningful, it's just it's just something to clutter.
It's more noise, literally.
I mean, we could, certainly throw up a different angle from a show every day, but at a certain point, like, people have seen enough of your live photos, like, cool, here's a guy holding a mic or playing a guitar, before they want, like, either real music and real content, or they want to unfollow you. Which is not the goal.
I mean, I saw. Did you edit the music videos that you guys did?
We had a friend. We have a friend who we saw earlier today.
Yeah.
First time in the new year. And she's
Nietzsche?
a great cinematographer. And she did the first 2 music videos. I'm working on our live performance that we did, which she was also very kind enough, to come out and shoot, as well as our friend Des. Shout out Des. So yeah, I do most of the heavy lifting with the video work.
They look great. I mean, like a lot of bands don't have that. They can't even get to that. So
Thanks for checking it out. I appreciate it.
No problem. I might check out the bands before I actually listen to them, but
Doing research.
no, I think I heard about you guys about a year and a half ago.
Nice.
Like through some other bands, whatnot. I was just looking through. Like I said, I've been kicking around the idea of doing a label for a while. So I was just like, look around to see who we got. I actually had a spreadsheet for a while. Like,
Oh yeah.
We've got a lot of spreadsheets.
Too much.
All sorts of
Yeah, you
things.
talk about-
Spreadsheets for days.
Yeah, we probably have as much spreadsheets as a small business would. Like if you were looking at Google Drive, it's just sheet and this references that one and these color code as soon as we're all booked for this show or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
This one automatically posts to our calendar once everybody's committed and like I don't know. It's
That's
interesting.
something.
We're a little overly organized that way.
That's something bands definitely don't do. Like most bands just
Somehow
don't.
we still feel like we're not organized.
I
wait,
know,
what, that
but-
show's coming up? Yeah, it's been on the
Yeah.
calendar for 3 months. Oh,
It's all
I don't even know.
face.
I guess I'll be there. Did I say I was gonna do it? Yeah. Okay.
Here, hold on.
Well, you got me
She said the
then.
date. Text. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Which is an interesting exercise for us because we're a 3-piece band at the moment, and we look at bands who are 5 pieces, 6 pieces, and we think, wow, that must be so difficult to organize. I mean, like, shout out to people who have more members who do that, because that just, I don't know, it seems difficult. It does have its advantages with being able to split studio time into fifths instead of thirds, or whatever.
you'd imagine they'd be able to actually, for one, get more studio time or be able to spend more money on the things they do, or at the very, very least, be able to control their social media. I can't tell you how many bands I ran into that were really good. I was like, I like these guys a lot, but they look like they're just lazy. They don't do anything, So like you figure 5 or 6 people in a band, oh hey, you just do Twitter once a week or something.
Yeah.
It's
That'd be
definitely
okay.
not a word I think anybody would use to describe any of us. There's no
way, yeah.
Definitely not lazy.
And there's ways to make it easier on yourselves, especially in the way of social media. Like our Twitter is automated. Like we don't even have to touch it because everything from our Instagram automatically posts to Twitter. Facebook is done by hand.
No. We are hand tweeting everything.
We're live tweeting
by hand.
on there.
You gotta be careful with some of them because some of them just post a link, and you want it to go to Twitter to where it's an actual pic. So
We're it's not like we're absent from Twitter. Like we're definitely on Twitter to make sure everything posts. But yeah, it's true. Like
say to
never,
everybody else,
ruined
make sure-
this.
Don't just
Yeah, exactly.
You really ruined
don't just
this
link
now.
it and be like,
Everybody knows.
When you said
No, it's a
when
good
you said I
thing.
definitely wouldn't use that as a word to describe us, I was like Twitter, and then you were like lazy. I was like, oh. I was like, I wouldn't describe us as Twitter either. But
How'd you like
I
that
got
band?
you. I got you.
Very Twitter.
Very
Very
extremely Twitter.
Straight tweet, yo.
But yeah, I mean, there's if you're a band and you're trying to up your social media game, one quick life hack is just take 30 minutes of your time and make a little evergreen content schedule for the next 2 weeks. Every 2 days, I'm gonna post one of our best photos from this show. Figure out your caption, just schedule it, just let it go. We don't do that all the time because we want most everything to be real and we're actually excited about the things that we post and whatever. But if you really need to get stuff up there, you can just.
I mean, you need that's actually straight up brilliant because people don't do that. They if you took even your song or took one link to one song and be all right, I'll schedule this one link to post twice a week or something. There's a different link, a different song. You get a song every other day or something, to where people saw the music every once in a while, but they don't. They might see pictures. They might see this is a concert. They'll post their new album. That's it. They're like, hey, you might get someone to click on that every once in a while, as opposed to just one post. Scheduling is pretty brilliant.
Yeah, backlogging content.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You can just be oh, you know what? I don't have that time later this week, and when that that hour pops up, you're like, oh, done. It's already there.
So what's your favorite, or do you think this is the best of the social media to get fans or to contact each other or show them what you're up to? Which do you think Instagram or Facebook or what?
Instagram is definitely our most active channel as far as how much we post and how much response we get, because Facebook isn't as helpful as far as content discovery goes.
No shout out to Mark Zuckerberg.
Which is funny because he owns both of them. But yeah, with Instagram,
First shout out.
Mark and the Zucks, it's my favorite.
We actually are
favorite post-punk band.
changing our band name right now on this podcast.
Zuck and the
Done.
Marks. Yeah, Instagram is definitely the way you can build buzz quickly. Just trying to take advantage of how their algorithm works. If you're able to own certain hashtags that are unique to you that you then blast out, if you're able to make it to the top of certain hashtags lists algorithmically, and then people who
Hashtag
like
California pop punk.
exactly check it out. if you're able to get to the top of these certain hashtags lists, then Instagram will suggest you to other accounts once people follow that account, and they'll say, oh, this account also followed this account, so it'll tell me to follow that one.
Yeah.
You might also like.
Yeah, exactly. You'll become suggested. So we get random followers from people who happen to like pop punk or post-hardcore or emo or other bands that we'll tag and stuff like that, and so you're able to funnel in that way.
I've noticed that a lot with Instagram, actually. That it definitely does better than like my Facebook pages, and you can take a look at the insights and whatnot, and you're like, holy crap! Like I have a few people on Facebook that follow me, but like nobody's seeing it.
Yeah.
Like Instagram, like people, I get likes from people, like especially if I'm playing the hashtag game, like I get likes all day. It's just weird.
And for like people like you and myself, we don't even see a Facebook feed anymore. Shout out Facebook Eradicator.
Oh yeah, Jeff and I use this plugin that's called the Eradicator, which basically gets rid of your newsfeed and it replaces it with an inspirational quote every day. So we can still use the Facebook like band app to post for the band, but that's pretty much it. Like I don't have a personal newsfeed on Facebook or anything like that.
It's really
I
nice.
just Facebook all day.
All day,
nothing.
it's on the book.
I don't even work. I go to work to Facebook.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I leave work to take a break from Facebook.
Are you Mark Zuckerberg?
Actually, I do Facebook a lot between like my friends and my family or whatever, but like
That makes sense. Yeah.
it gets
Yeah.
annoying. I feel like I wanted to burn it down for a while.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting. Like having had that for so long, you get on a computer that like doesn't have it, and you like log on to Facebook to check an event, and you're like, oh man, there's all this stuff that I totally don't miss at
Yeah.
all. Like,
People arguing over political crap.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. The event.
Take it to Twitter.
Take it to Twitter.
Get to
Where I
Twitter.
could really ignore it.
We'll be on there, scheduled out.
The name of our new album.
Take it to
Take
Twitter.
it to Twitter. Take it to Twitter. Yeah, the Facebook events page is definitely useful because I don't think Instagram has an events feature. So you can corral people into making an event for a show, like an actual physical event, or what JD's done for us before is like an album release or something like that, or a single release. Like invite everybody. It comes out at this time. You're able to get notified. We'll bypass the newsfeed algorithm that way.
Yeah.
But also now they're making it so you have to boost events with money, and so
Yeah.
if you have a small budget to dedicate to Facebook ads, it's definitely not. For one thing, it's not cheating. It's definitely viable. That's what a record label would do for you if you just don't have the budget that they have. So if you have $20 or $50 to put behind your video or something like that, as a band, you should totally do that because you put too much other money and other time and other creative effort into that thing to not get the reach that it deserves. So you should do that. Get it out there, and if you can put sponsored posts up for other bigger events for your band, like a big show coming up, and just target it to people in your area, then you should do that too.
I've spent quite a bit of money trying to figure out Facebook ads in general. It's very hit and miss. I mean, it depends on kind of what you're trying to do. But yeah,
There's definitely a trick to it. You can't just throw it at a wall
Yeah,
and hope
totally,
that something sticks. There's a special way to do it. So I have not figured that out. I don't know if you have, but
He knows better than we do.
he's the social media guy for sure.
So hopefully,
I definitely don't think you can live without. I think they both kind of coincide and work well together.
Yeah.
I don't think you can pick one or the other. Like I can get rid of the others in my mind, but Instagram and Facebook, because Facebook is just so good at sharing an event. Like I said, you can't do that with. We can post a poster as one of our pictures on Instagram, but we can't get you to actually interact with us and say, hey, I'm interested in coming to that show, which we can do on Facebook. Or we can post, a video with a link, whereas Instagram, you can't post links except in the bio. So you always see those, hit our bio up, which is another step that somebody might not necessarily want to do. Whereas Facebook, I can be like, video and link, here you go. Come check out our show on Saturday.
but if it's a Facebook video, they'll actually let it pass. But if you put a YouTube video in it, it kills that algorithm for it. It's such a mess that way.
We've done tests with that where we'll post the same music video with different links, and we'll stifle the reach for one and grant it to the other one.
Seeing the podcast, even
Exactly.
working with other bands and working, with just recording in general, and then promoting myself, and then now with the podcast, like just seeing the insights to some of the stuff is just kind of like, why on earth are they?
Yeah. It's kind of like an outrage at first, but now it's just the reality that we live in, and it makes sense that they would do that ultimately. I mean, they're a business, and that's how they make their money. Yeah. So if you have a little bit of budget,
Do you guys do YouTube or?
yeah, we post all of our big stuff to YouTube. Like we'll post like our music videos to YouTube, lyric videos. We have those like I don't know what you call them, like the album cover videos with like the waveform on there that people just hopefully share around, just to hear like a playlist of our songs on YouTube with a little visualizer.
Yeah, some shows.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
have
or
shows
like
like
playthroughs and stuff.
we have like our Warped Tour show.
We got a
all
drum
from his
cam.
drum cam.
Yeah.
that you can check out.
Full
It's
set.
really
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's cool because you can see like the crowd, everybody watching from the riser, and it's like way up high, and you can see everybody, and you can see like me and him just jumping around, sweating. I don't think I ever sweat so much in my life.
It was very hot.
Our set was at 4:30, which like, thank you so much to Warped Tour for such an awesome set time. That was amazing. We were right the heat of the day, and the sun. Before we were looking at the stage around like 11 when we showed up. We're like, okay, this is like it's all in shadow. We should be relatively cool. And then 4:30 comes around, and it's beating down on it.
I got the
We're like,
shadows.
there's the sun.
Yeah, you got the
I got the shadows. I was far enough back in the,
Dude,
on the stage. Luckily.
So I mentioned earlier about like significant others. How do you guys kind of deal with weaving them in now? Like whether it's family or friends or a girlfriend or whatever. Like I know, just doing the band alone plus your work, there's like all that time. How do you deal with that?
JD has adopted Jeff and I as his sons, so we're all family now.
Actual family, legally, for tax reasons.
I mean, it's definitely it's like your life is like Tetris. You gotta like make sure the blocks fit, and so all these things hold a ton of significance and priority to each member because we all have very different life situations and different significant other situations. So you have to make sure that with all parties, everybody has the attention and time that they need, and that you yourself have the attention and time you need too, because you don't want to burn out, and you can't be the best significant other to somebody else if you're burning out or if they're not seeing you enough as well. So you got to make sure that what the biggest lever that we pull is we schedule out, here's what we got to do.
By the way, you asked the two guys with the girlfriends in this band the most dangerous question in
Looting.
case that their significant others watch this.
Oh, she's not gonna watch this.
So
I'm good.
That's why you don't have enough time.
Hour in, we're like what, an hour into this now? So like they won't watch all this. They'll be out by 20 minutes.
We're good.
Clickbait. Check out the hour and
Skip every
2 minute
10
mark.
seconds till I
She'll,
get the word.
she'll
Someone's
click,
gonna put it
she'll
down.
click on it and wait till it's long
Yeah.
enough to register a YouTube view and be like, all right, I'm out. I gave you
Hey,
your
that's a good-
YouTube
that's a
view.
good
I'm done.
And that someone is going to be me.
What we do is we have band practice where half the purpose is to schedule, and so we'll schedule these things what we call sacred Sundays, which is like a Sunday like this one where we have a whole day blocked off, where it's like no significant other, no anything other than this can get in the way of this unless it's like a family thing or if it's an emergency
Yeah.
or something like that. And
Get
so
in here at 8 a.m., maybe grab some lunch in midday and try and leave late at night.
till the sun,
Yeah.
sometimes we're in here and we don't even know that the sun went away. I'm like, oh crap.
Imagine there's no windows.
You just do
Yeah.
do what you can.
Yeah.
I just make it work, I guess. It's just kind of like, I don't know. You just show up and do it. I grew up overseas, so all my family actually lives in Australia. So I don't talk to them that often. So it's easy to fit them into my schedule because they're not really in my schedule.
You don't have to fit anybody in.
Exactly. It's like, how do you fit your family? And I'm like, I talk to them once every like 6 months. I just spoke to my mother, I think the other day. I think the last time I spoke to her was like August.
Wow.
I like looked through the Facebook app because I use Facebook because you can call through the Facebook Messenger and stuff. So I looked through. I was like, oh man, we haven't spoken since July. I should give her a call and say Happy Merry Christmas. Or
I'm on the opposite end. I talk to everybody in my family every day.
Yeah.
But
so
and luckily, I mean, especially as a drummer, shout out to my family if I'm gonna give one legitimate shout out for encouraging and putting up with drums forever. You know,
Family.
They're still very
Yeah.
encouraging of it. You know.
I
And
find
this-
one or the other, man. I'll have, well, the family will be like completely like, yeah, do it. Or like the family will be like, I don't want to do. You should get a real job.
Yeah.
I bought a drum set when I was in high school, and I think I hit it once, and my mom was like, no, pick the guitar back up and you stop.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
I was
Pack
like
them up.
That's a lot
I
of
also got
encouragement for
super
guitar.
lucky. My neighbor growing up was his dad was a drummer, so it was just like never bothered the neighbors, which was
There you go. Like,
awesome.
here's it next door. You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you come over and you're getting a little better. Okay, you're not as good. Yeah.
Getting better. Nope, that was wrong.
Well, you're
Wrong.
from Australia. You guys from here?
We're from the Bay Area.
Bay Area? Oh, yeah, it's
Northern
Bay Area.
California.
Okay. So, like, your families live in the Bay?
Yeah,
Okay.
both of ours.
Yeah. he moved down here right after high school. So what have you been down here? 11 years?
Yeah, 11 years. I went to college in Orange County, and then I traveled for a bit after college, and then came back here. I settled here to become an actor.
Oh, wow.
Which, clearly worked out because
It does. He acts like he likes us every
We should have
day.
brought your
crazy.
movie and just been
My
like,
sli-
dun, dun, dun.
The Alien movie was the
Oh
best.
my gosh!
That's the best.
Don't Google that.
Alien movie?
Yeah, he acts like he likes us every day.
description.
I've been in some very questionable student films in the past.
Casting couch questionable or?
I mean,
Casting couch.
He didn't say no.
yeah.
He didn't say no.
Think of like.
He's still trying to explain it.
No, don't. Don't think about it.
Cut. Let's
Yeah.
move on. Moving on.
Yeah, I came here to do acting, and then I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do, and I started writing songs in college a little bit on acoustic, just because that's all I had around. And I didn't have any confidence in myself as a songwriter at all. I didn't show them to anybody, and then I showed it to a good friend when I first moved here in about 2012. And he said, don't do acting, you should do that. And you need somebody sometimes to sort of like look in from the outside and say like, you should focus your time on this because that's going to be a little bit better for you. And I said, oh, that's awesome. Like, okay. So I recorded a demo or two, and then the band had happened.
Erupted.
From,
Yeah.
Erupted.
And now we all write songs
Then
together.
it was like that song, Eruption.
Well, and it's nice from a writing. It's nice from a writing perspective because he does write a significant portion of our music, like from the get go. But like he grew up a drummer as well, which was kind of awesome because that's like one of the things I still love about being in this band. Is like we grew up both playing drums, and it was like I would love to play music with my best friend, but like what band other than Primus has two drummers?
Yeah, we never played a band together.
So that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice because his writing, he still has like such a drummer mind that he can sort of like wrap his head around like A, what fits, and B, like how I play. So he gives me really, really good skeletons of parts to work with.
Drummers are really great at arranging things. I find a lot of producers are drummers because they'll know how to work the arrangement. And that's actually a really big thing into recording. To be able to arrange things to where they fit, to where they get bigger, they expand. You only have a certain volume and width to work with in that medium. So yeah.
That's one thing I really do like about all three of us as individual songwriters is we all have this affinity for structure, and we all like will contribute certain things to like, oh, this should change here, should be like a half measure more, or like this should be like this section should go in the back.
What if we, like the new song we're working on, it's like...
You walked in and they were working.
Yeah, how do we revisit something from like either the intro or midway through and like finish a phrase at the end of the song with something that like people won't expect? Just try things out and see what fits. Yeah.
I have a very different approach. I just write stuff and I say, hey, drums can go here. You can play drums as fast as I can pick on a guitar, right? Like if I'm just doing a really fast palm unit, like you could just do that, right?
Coupled
Yeah.
with the sentence, I don't know if this is right for the band, but I'll send it anyway. Every time.
Every time.
Just blast beats.
So you guys use TuneCore, or what do you use? I find a lot of bands use TuneCore for like getting on Spotify or
For distro?
yeah.
Oh, I was like, I don't even
Or
know
not
what
TuneCore,
TuneCore
sorry.
is.
Do you use CD Baby?
CD Baby, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I meant DistroKid. I don't know why I said TuneCore.
For any bands out there that want to do that, it's actually very easy. You just go on CD Baby and you can basically register your stuff, and you register songwriting credit and your PRO, and then basically it sends it out to hundreds of sites. So we'll get checks from some streaming service in Australia, and it's like, oh cool, that's like $1.50 from like somebody. It's big money. It's like 38 cents.
It's because he's taking all the money. I saw the email that they're like, we just cashed you out.
You're capturing the band.
Here it is.
Six months
record,
of streams. Here's
no checks have ever
$18
been
a
cashed.
day.
Yeah.
Well, we are breaking.
I'm wondering now. Like, I'm 6. This is gonna be 7 podcasts in. Like, I wonder how long I'm gonna get in before band breaks up from the original podcast.
Check them out, and they're broken.
And
up.
there you go.
You don't have to worry about
You're like,
this.
man, I gotta start editing this quicker.
Like that South Park.
Don't break up. Okay, it's out.
Actually, a
Don't break
live
up.
stream. This is a really live stream, isn't it?
Exactly. Maybe we should, to be honest.
You don't have to worry about crash. We're here for the long haul. We're trying to make as much cool shit as we possibly can.
Just getting started.
Yeah, dude.
I thought you were gonna say trying to make as much money as we can.
That's true. From weird, obscure streaming services that we never heard of.
Well, go ahead and like plug your new stuff or what you're doing currently, and I guess we'll wrap it up.
What are we doing currently? We're writing. We got a show on the 26th at
Burbank Music Academy with our buddies Third Ally. Come check them out. That band is super sick. We're hyped to be playing that one.
January 26th?
January 26th.
2019?
2019, 10:45 p.m. is our set time. We're going to be playing a lot of new material.
So I guess hopefully this comes out before then.
I'm hoping, but we'll see.
But yeah, we'll be workshopping a lot of new stuff because we have to, because we're trying to get into studio within the next few months. And
Yeah.
so we have to play these songs
If
live.
nothing else, we'd love everybody's input on all the new stuff that we're working on. So we're going to play a bunch of new songs and we're going to say, what do you guys think? Probably not on stage, but who knows? I'm usually that guy that will just be like, what'd you guys think? We'll just go one at a time and I'll waste like 5 minutes on stage.
If you say,
Like, oh, we
hey,
should
I
probably-
love that part, well, thank you. And if you say, hey, I hated that part, we'll say, hey,
You're
you
wrong.
don't have to watch. You don't have to listen at all.
I wasn't sure about that song. Well, we're not sure about you, so leave.
Critique us and we won't listen to any of it.
Only tell me things I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of writing. and-
Lots of writing. Hoping to throw ourselves into the demo process. Basically, record an album to then record an album. But do it that one way. Figure everything out. We are looking for producers at this time. We're looking into a couple options. So we haven't figured that out just yet. But that's our next step.
Then probably doing a West Coast run.
Yeah, hopefully a couple of small tours. I've got a couple of friends who are trying to do some stuff or trying to hook us up with a few different things. Nothing's guaranteed, so there's not really much to say on that end. But we'll definitely be keeping everything updated on our Facebook and Instagram. He's the Instagram guy.
And then subsequently Twitter.
Twitter will probably get it too.
Yeah.
Well, I will link all said things in the description below, whether you're on YouTube or on the podcast app or whatever else you got there. But thanks, guys, for having me here and for seeing your room and whatnot. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.